Initially, the first thing that brought me out to Tarra was probably Dave O'Callaghan, who was the president at the time. I was playing up in the Northern Territory and I was on my way back to Victoria. Obviously that's where I'm from, for those that don't know. I was 18, 19 at the time and was going back to nothing, so they gave me a call to see if I wanted to play footy up in the country, and it was able to get me a job and play footy for 12 months and a bit of cash, which was always handy for an 18, 19 year old. So that was the initial reason why I came. Was just a phone call from the president at Tarra, and yeah, I thought why not? I had nothing planned and ended up at Tarra.
I stayed at Tarrawingi firstly and probably mostly for the people that were involved. I've very quickly become great friends with a lot of people, and the club had a really great environment. But one of the real deciding factors was after I won my first best and fairest, Ken Stewart, a man who was pretty large in the club at the time, said, "Oh, we probably won't see you next year." And I looked at him strangely and he said, "The last 4 people I've presented this trophy to haven't come back the next year. They've been poached by other clubs, things like that." And that really stuck with me. So I wanted to make sure I didn't become one of those people.
Well, I think it was only about 12 months in, probably a bit after, I met Christy. So that was probably one big reason I stayed out of Tarra, because her brother Ruda was playing there. Tony Watkins, his real name is. And I don't know, it was just a good place. Even though we were getting belted pillar to post every game, it was just a good vibe, a good place to play footy. You know, there was no expectations. It was just a matter of getting out on a Saturday and having a kick, and that was the main thing that I enjoyed, and the people.
I don't really think I've had too many challenging times at Tarrawingi. Early on we didn't win many games, but that didn't particularly bother me because, you know, as I've said before, tons of great people and I was just having a great time out at Tarrawingi. Personally, maybe, you know, injuries late in my career, particularly not being able to play in a premiership in a grand final at 100%. Both games I'd been injured throughout the whole year and just couldn't bring everything I had to those games. So they were challenging, but still we won, and so it was worth it.
Obviously the 2 premierships that I was fortunate to play in 2008 and 2010 were the main ones. Obviously there's a couple of individual ones that I was lucky to also pick up along the way, but definitely the 2008-2010 premiership. 2008 was really just for the club to not have won a flag since 1990, just to see the emotion, you know, on the players' faces and especially the supporters like Daryl Everett. Who else is there? You know, Pricey, a lot of the older blokes, Turk Nolan, Matt Gorman, Daz, was the real highlight to see, you know, that we'd put a lot of effort in it to win that flag in 08. It was not just for the players but for the spectators and the club. So that was the best highlight.
As far as highlights go, obviously winning the grand final was the true highlight, especially with all the work we'd put in and how far we'd come. Some other highlights outside of the game, probably when the lights went up at Tarrawingi, that was pretty good. For those people new to the club, we used to train under some fairly poor lights, and when the new ones come out, it just made going to training that much more exciting. And one other thing I really enjoyed, particularly in the early days, was getting to training early, getting up on the taping bench and just chatting to old man Johnsy for 45 minutes, half an hour before training. You know, I really enjoyed his wisdom and his takes on life, so yeah, that was quite enjoyable.
I don't know, it's a tough question because obviously, you know, we played a lot of footy together in the early days at Tarra. You both captain the club. I think our relationship was probably as good as any on the football field. We both tried to lead as an example to the younger blokes and just the rest of the 21 players every day, every week. And we just tried to do our role and our part for the game, and we've been mates since then. And I'm sad when Clarkey finished his career, because I rate him as probably, if not the best footballer that I played with at Tarra. But yeah, it's, I wouldn't say that we go out every weekend and go and have a beer, but when we catch up, it's really good to catch up with Clarkey and reminisce about the old days. But he's been a fantastic player. He was a great bloke for the footy club, terrific player. And I know that we'll be mates, till we die, I suppose. So, he's a fantastic bloke, Clarkey, real good.
My relationship with Frankie. What can I say about the little maestro? I love him. I respect the fact that he could have gone and played anywhere for a lot more money than he was probably getting at Tarra and a lot more success early, but he stuck with the club, and I think he's been duly rewarded, which is great. One of the things I think people don't know about Frankie is, had he played at a higher level, which he was more than capable of, he was an absolute dynamic half-forward flanker. I know he played a lot of his footy in the centre and on ball for Tarra, but gee, his ability to burst out of a pack and kick a long goal, 50 metres plus, I just used to be in awe of that. So, I love the bloke, and I'm glad he's had as much success and sort of mean as much to Tarra as he has.
Firstly, probably all the coaches I had over my career. It was Les Wallace, Richard Bull, Jack Gannon, Billy McMillan, Nick Wilson. I think that was all of them. If I missed anyone, apologies. Obviously all the trainers, all the runners, all the water boys, all the water girls, all the volunteers, the committee, and the footy club in general. It's an awesome club. Obviously I'm not there at the moment, but every chance I get, I do get back there to try and help out when I can. But yeah, just the footy club for obviously getting me down there and looking after myself and my family over the 15 years. And especially everyone who's here tonight. Yeah, thank you, and for those that travel, my family, very appreciative of them coming up. And again, everyone just for being here for myself and Clarkey. It's a real honour and a privilege, and very thankful. So thank you all.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to thank my mum and dad and all my family, my brother. I'd like to thank Michelle and all the kids, particularly for putting up with me, rushing off every Saturday morning to go to footy and hanging around late at training on Thursday nights. I'd like to thank all the coaches I've had at Tarra, Gano, Billy and Mick. They've been terrific support throughout the whole time, and also all the people who assisted around the club, whether they tape or put in the team sheets, just everything. I know it takes a lot to run a club. The players tend to get all the spotlight, but it's those people that are the most important to the club. And lastly, just to all the friends that I've made at Tarra. It was a terrific place. Having moved to Yarrawonga, I don't get there nearly as often as I'd like, but I still check the paper every Sunday to see how the boys went, and get down there as often as I can. So thank you.